Okay, I'm going to be recording the screen now, and so I'm hoping that this will work better than my previous one, which apparently did not record the audio. So let me just open up the presentation that I um, was going to show you, and oh, sorry about that. Okay, this will work. Okay, so let me go ahead and go through this. Ah! Let me go ahead and go through this research essay outline and peer review one um, overview that I said I was going to accompany with the video. So I want to make sure that you read Module 4 and especially all the way through to 4.14 where it says Outline Wizard. That's really important. The latter parts are important for writing your rough draft, and so you're going to be doing that next week. So, uh, you don't get a break in this really short term. You have to actually write a research essay, so it's important to keep moving right along. And but one thing I did want to draw your attention to is this is a little screenshot of the module 4, and in every module at the very beginning, you'll notice this picture, and it says download this module in a PDF format, and you can do that by clicking on it and then saving, and you can print it out or save it for later to read on your computer or phone even, I suppose. So that's important to remember. But make sure you read all these things, and there's some critical points in there that are useful for you to remember, including the idea of different ways to organize your ideas, whether it's from uh, problem to solution, cause to effect, uh, break something down into parts, sort of an analytical approach, or a chronological approach, or something like that. There's a lot of different ways that you can organize your writing for a persuasive essay. So keep those things in mind. Now, you're going to be moving from writing about specific things individually, which the annotated bibliography did, to writing about things together, meshing and synthesizing the information that you have. So this is a sort of visual of your thesis, then the thesis main points, and then the evidence to support major point 1 or 2 or 3, and those can indicate source information or reasons or points or something. And you might have one source that has information that relates to point 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 or just 1. So the information might not be limited just to isolated paragraphs, and I don't want it to see it like that. I want to see more synthesis. Now, you're not doing a whole lot of writing the draft, but you are writing parts of it. Each of the major points should be written as topic sentences, not just phrases. And so that's a critical point to keep in mind. And the information that you use to support your main paragraphs and main points is you have to have evidence that's enough evidence to be uh, ample enough to support the point sufficiently. You have to have relevant evidence that relates to your thesis in content. It shouldn't be too far from the of an analogy or example to your situation that you're talking about. It also must come from sources. Some sources can contain similar paragraphs or examples so that you might refer to several sources within one paragraph. And also, a key thing to keep in mind is the term that I'll use is citation, and doesn't mean just quotation. A lot of people get confused. Citation, quotation are not the same thing. A citation is needed when you're paraphrasing, summarizing, or quoting a source directly. And what I mean by that citation there, I mean a parenthetical reference. A parenthetical reference meaning putting in the name and the year, if it's APA style, in parentheses, hence the word parenthetical, right after where you paraphrase it, summarize, or quote it. And again, it's not just needing to put it there when you're quoting. Now, you also need to have a matching citation, and this is a different use of the term citation, for the works cited list or the reference list at the end. And so that's an important factor too. Now, I'm going to be including this example of an outline from MindEdge. It's about vaccinations for children. And the thesis statement says, research suggests that the most important reasons childhood vaccinations are important are safety-based, because there are many positive effects for the vaccinated child. There are few risks, and other children may become sick after coming into contact with an unvaccinated child. So this is the thesis that's used as an example in MindEdge, as well as they have the tiny house paper example as well. That's real good too. Both of them are pretty good. So you can see how this uses topic sentences here and then here, and the introduction mentions the thesis statement. The thesis statement here should actually be put as the last thing in the introduction. That's the best place for a thesis statement in a research essay usually. Now, I also am including two typical examples, and these are not great, they're not horrible. So, but there's something wrong with them, some various things wrong with them, but they're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. And so, one of the things this person did was they put a lot of sentences within it. Jeez, sorry about that. And this person didn't put sentences at all. So what you need is a topic sentence and a summary sentence. So these are both two examples. We'll go into this in detail a little bit more on Wednesday when I talk about how you can provide good peer review comments for those. And then I'm going to mention another example, and this one is a blank. Well, it's supposed to say click to add title, and essentially it's going to be a good example of an outline, and it's going to be about fitness monitors, the benefits of fitness monitors. Okay. All right, so that's what that one is about, and there's a good example provided there. Now, another handout that you need to print out and look carefully at is the rubric and assignment guidelines for the outline, because if you look at it, it does say that you need a complete thesis, and your introduction needs to contain the thesis, and main points 1, 2, and 3 need to have a topic sentence, supporting evidence in it that relates to the topic sentence. For example, the citation reference, the parenthetical reference, and a summary sentence. And that could mean a summary sentence to this section. You might have main point 1 be broken up into 2 paragraphs. That's considered like main point section, okay? The conclusion should have a summary statement and that includes the main points, and the thesis statement that's restated in a slightly different way. And then at the end, you also have to have a list of references that match up to the sources that you're going to be using in your paper. And they have to match directly each parenthetical reference. Everything that's parenthetically referred to in the outline should be included in the set of references. And when you put that references section together, you should organize it by alphabetical order, the first author's last name. Okay, and now another handout you need to take out and look at very carefully is the peer review. Okay, and we're going to